It's really good looking for Reload Fulcrum here as they go into that first game. So it looks like no Horde, unfortunately, just full alliance on this MDI, as we do see the Paladin is playing Dwarf. So we see 4 Night Elves and 1 Dwarf on the side of Reload Fulcrum. We do see a very similar skip by both of the teams, actually skipping that first trash pack and just pulling the pack on the left side.
Here comes the Ashen Hollow, first global for Reload Fulcrum. Then they immediately use the Urn to be able to stun up all these mobs. On the side of Obey Alliance, they have something a little bit similar. But honestly, the Holy Paladin kind of carrying damage right here for Reload Fulcrum, 20k DPS. They finished their first pack just a little bit faster. Huh.
Where's the Moonkin? The Moonkin just like...
He had to click the
anyway.
Urn. Leave him alone.
True.
He had to click the Urn.
True, that is... But yeah, the Paladin was basically doing... The Paladin was doing the Moonkin damage. The Paladin was basically just, doing the damage dealer's job. But anyway, we're moving on. That's what's going to be holding you back the most. And we can see it right now for Reload Fulcrum as they're reaching the boss first. And they're going to be having more single target damage for sure. You can see the Moonkin now finally showing off the damage that he can do with all of those cooldowns being popped. I mean, look at the amount of damage coming out of the Moonkin and the Holy Paladin with the Bloodlust and the Pride. Just huge amounts of single target damage just melting the boss.
Yeah, and now the Mage has his Combustion up, is utilizing that. Like, they have 4 people right at 10k DPS, where if you look on the side of Obey Alliance, they only have one player above 10k DPS. So there's going to be an absolutely massive differential in terms of just like time to kill on this boss. And that's going to be their advantage. Like, they may end up being able to kill stuff like Hakar 1 blood barrier faster because of this damage gain on the instance as a whole. They may be able to kill stuff like Moizala just a little bit faster just because of the single target damage gain. However, Obey Alliance definitely has a significantly higher cleave profile just in general.
So let's see later on how they're going to be pulling this off. But first of all, they need to do this first boss room. And we see now gathering an insane amount of trash and the boss as well. So huge pull coming in here at the start with Bloodlust being popped as well. So let's see that Fire Mage damage.
Hey, check it out. The Rogue bursted for 400k. No issues there. Wonder what he did. I think he used a spear, if I had to guess. But check it out. The Mage is catching up off of pure raw combustion AoE alone. But now they have a Prideful that they have to deal with on top of this boss as well, and they still have all of these Spitefuls chasing them around, as well as the Carrion Worms from the boss. So it's going to be a little scary. They're going to have to kite around a little bit, but once those Spitefuls are gone, there's not too much to worry about. They just have to worry about that pulsing AoE damage from the Prideful. So wow, Echo just crushing it already on their end.
All right, so it looks like we're going to go into that Halls of Atonement, and one thing we also should mention here is that Tyrannical got nerfed, right? We have a 10%, or it was 40% health increase on the Tyrannical bosses, and now it's only a 30% HP increase. So that also means that they're going to be killing the bosses a little bit faster, which really is something that slows you down, because you can't necessarily pull a lot of trash on top of bosses, usually at least. In this dungeon, we've seen that before, so we'll see what those teams are going to be doing, as both of them seem to be doing an incredibly big pull, but Yoda going down for the Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it looked like JB wasn't involved in that pull at the start. It's possible that he may have not been in there, not connected perhaps, right at the start of the run. So it looks like they're all hanging out near the start of the dungeon as that pull did. Of course, when you don't have a healer there, things go bad very quickly.
Yeah, and we've seen Perplex also do a pretty big pull here yesterday and wiped to it, because they were missing an interrupt on one of the Goliaths, I believe. So yeah, let's see how they do it as they just gather up this pull. The middle pack plus this right pack, and the middle pack as well with the Helion, with the big mini boss, which does do a pulsing AoE. You see, the gathering up is already difficult for them because they need to all gather it up for the spear, but the Justicar unfortunately didn't actually get hit. Now it got knocked into it, so yeah, it looks like they're melting this pack with the Combustion by the Fire Mage coming out as well, and the Master Spell to get rid of those bursting stacks. Yeah, well done. That looked so simple, but it was incredibly difficult to pull off.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well is they actually pulled the Goliath in this time. In the previous week, in the previous cup, they didn't deal with that Goliath at all in the initial AoE. They just let it sit out and cast its slams because it only has a 30-yard range. So pulling that in as well to get this Prideful here is a new adaptation.
Echo, though, did spawn that Pride after the boss was done, and they're now using Invis Potions to not have to deal with this one at all. And now they're using the Invis Potions to also probably skip past some of this trash here. Actually, I lied, they're not skipping past anything as they're just pulling everything on top of each other. Wow, that's a pretty big pull.
Interesting. That's a very dangerous pull. There's many things that can go wrong with this pull. Lots of frontals going out, lots of individual casts going out, and you have to worry about those upheavals that the Sentinel cast as well, the Craggy Fracture. So got to keep an eye on that, but it looks like they have all the cooldowns to just burn this down. The PI was used on the mage there, so they have the massive AoE. Got to keep an eye on that Sanguine management, though. A little bit of healing going off on top of the Mistdancer, but it looks like it's going to be, for the most part, purely okay, and the Sentinel is kited out for most of the Sanguine. So once again, Echo just able to perfectly execute these AoE pulls. No major Sanguine issues for them at all, and they are cruising to a 3-game victory here.
They don't get amplified just by the same time amount as you get by taking the Prideful buff into the boss. So it makes a lot of sense that they're pulling all of this stuff into the Mistcaller with the Prideful buff. On the side of P2's Angels, how did P2's Angels get all of this trash? Wait, did they pull some? I gotta watch. I have to watch that back in a little bit. They somehow got an extra gate's worth of trash. I think the Demon Hunter double jumped through Glaive a pack. That's so 5-head that I need to. Like, this is something that you could actually do in live keys, and you would probably be well off to do it. I wouldn't recommend doing it this week because it's inspiring, but like in future weeks, whenever there aren't like inspired mobs in the packs, that's such a smart pull to allow you to alleviate and to catch up in terms of time in the dungeon. This is really good for P2's Angels because now they're going straight into Mistcaller.
Now, P2 was able to figure out a way to pull. It looked like Chi Burst through the terrain there was the sauce for it, up against the little the mushrooms that you could see on the side there. I'm not 100% sure that was what did that pull, but whatever it is, I think that element is going to be a very common one that you will see going forward because that looked really, 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 really good. Echo has chosen to go with Fragments on that powerful Death Knight comfort pick where Fragments is so strong. I would say that this expansion Fragments has looked incredible on the Unholy, whereas Perplexed have a Shine playing that Hunter instead, so they don't have a Death Knight, they have that Hunter instead. I'm going to be interesting to see if there's any ways that difference will matter as this dungeon goes on.
I think it's hard to say that this will matter in any tangible way, but maybe it will. Oh, look at what Perplex is doing.
Tentacles, look at what Perplex has done. They have found a way to pull through the wall. They've got some more friends coming in, joining this. This is a different pull through the wall, I should add, than the one that we saw other teams utilizing, but they found a way to pull trash onto this Gorge Gullet. So even though Echo are a little bit ahead in terms of dungeon progression, Perplexed, assuming they can manage the Sanguine well, which is no easy task, will be able to actually catch up here and get a little bit of extra count, do this efficient cleave in a normal single target moment. Oh my goodness, Perplexed. Their health bars, look at those. You can see the tongue debuff on a Shine there. Must have been hit by the tongue of that ad. Meanwhile, Echo have a massive pull here into this Pride. It looks like they have combined that pull over the wall with the Pride at the same time. So they've taken the best of both worlds from the two different strategies we've seen from other teams.
Yeah, I think that this is absolutely astonishing for Perplex. I didn't realize that you could pull basically every single pack with Chi Burst like through the wall, as long as you had that range on it.
Yeah, we have PI me now. Looking at this, they're going to use the Shackle and the Ring of Peace to maneuver one of those inspiring mobs off to the side as they now get underway. It's going to be CCs on all 3 of those mobs before they get through, and they will just be fighting this. I have to see how they manage the timings of when the Pridefuls are going to spawn. This is a creative pathing here, though. I'm surprised to see the mobs pulled in this order from PI me.
Yeah, so
Guardians,
now... So look at what they have CC'd here. I think it's like the Trap Pair and the Shackle Undead. What are they gonna do with this trash?
No! Here's what they're doing.
Boss has been pulled. This
okay,
is dope.
Dr. J ran over and pulled the next mini boss. They're now going to use Sigil Chains, and they're going to fight all 5 of these at the same time. All 5 enemies. That is 3 difficult mobs, including an inspiring one, plus the 2 mini bosses here. They'd gotten one of them down to about half before they started this pull. They are not even committing their bloodlust while they're doing this. This is going to be incredible if they can make this thing work. Wow, this pull looks brutally difficult. They're able to take care of those smaller trash mobs now. They were waiting on starting that pull until their cooldowns were up. That was what was going on there. You saw as soon as they had everything grouped up, they did the Wild Spirits, although one of the mobs refused to cooperate and charge right out of the Wild Spirits, as they love to do. And they now have a Pride and the second half of the second mini-boss. This is a huge maneuver, though, from PIME. Big play. I mean, despite so much going wrong for Perplex are really trying to get back into this. One boss and 45 seconds of death differential ahead, as now we'll be sending out that cage on a Corpse Collector, grabbing basically the entire rest of the room all at once. Frag in position now to come in with that stealth, with that 100% crit from the Master Assassin Legendary, combining with that powerful weapon, and you can see these mobs are just getting melted by that weapon. Frag at 250,000 DPS. All those Spiteful Shades now spawned as well. They are going to do a beautiful job of kiting that. Nothing, wow, they've made this look so
nice.
Good. So impressive, as they are now going to be breaking out that Flesh Crafter, landing the Cleaver on the Pride for a little bit of extra damage. You can see the Pride gets chunked there by that Cleaver, and they are bringing that Flesh Crafter in, and this is artwork from Echo.
But yeah, Echo, they're already in this first intermission phase, just gathering these orbs to be able to throw the spear onto Devils to get them back down to be able to get into the second phase. And yeah, I mean, on this boss, nothing too scary can happen as long as they dodge the frontal charge. And I mean, yeah, just what a clean run. 2 deaths, which really were just deaths that didn't really cost them too much time. We see Sally also jumping down after buffing the power infusion. Checking if there's any spears close. Oh, the spears are too far away, it looks like. I don't think he's going to be able to catch it. Oh, he did. There we go. He got the spear, throwing it onto Devils, jumping down into the zone to be able to survive the Abyssal Detonation. Well done.
Yeah, that's great. Normally that's reserved for being a meta achievement, but we talked about this before. Since there's really nothing else going on in this phase, the damage in the fight is pretty low outside of the Abyssal Detonations. Your healer can just hop off, jump in the air, grab one of those spears for the meta achievement, and actually does 4 or 5% of the boss's HP, even on this level 18 key. So it's just really free damage that a healer would otherwise never have the real chance of doing. So yeah, that was a great POV of a healer doing it, because I've definitely done keys with a lot of healers that are like, buff, why would I ever do that? I don't know how that works. Perfect POV of how to do it here from
Did
Zaylee.
he just... Okay, it felt that... it looked like he pressed Berserking before he jumped down, but of course he's a Night Elf, so he doesn't have anything like that. But it looked like it was the same animation over his head. Not sure what kind of ability that is, but there we go. Boss is going down.
Was pretty unique in how they were setting it up. And so now Obey Alliance being really patient with their damage. Oh, okay, look at this. Sigil of Misery comes down on all those mobs, and now Shape combusts, flame striking, doing the most damage he possibly can, doing mage things and padding the meters. Good job from Shape. Really good massive
And then he wasn't even in the... That was like the most typical mage thing I've seen. So putting the Rune of Power away from the group, just combusting, and then not even being in a mass dispel range, you know? It's just like, they're bursting. I mean, it's like, just heal me.
Heal me. I'm not blocking. I'm not in the mass dispel. You can single dispel me, or I'm just going to stand here and complain and blame you. That is the most mage thing. I agree.
I like it. He just asserted his dominance over the healer here after he buffed him with PI. Oh no. Because the pulls that they're doing in these kind of MDI style speedruns are really, really insane. So whenever they can hold on to defensive, it's actually really nice. As Dr. J walked into that explosion, but did manage to survive. Did also manage to not proc any sort of cauterize or anything, so well done. But the problem is they have the congealed slime here, and the bomb is probably gonna go off because the damage reduction on Ickis was up too long, and now the fear is coming out. It's gonna go off! Oh my god, the touch of death came in the very last millisecond. That was actually so incredibly close. Oh my god.
Okay, so the paralysis broke on the slime. Okay, that was the first problem. So then you had the congealed slime from the other side coming into melee. Dr. J does a really good job of hitting a double Roth, but unfortunately the DK dots spread to the Roth congealed slimes. So then they're like panicking, trying to like use things like leg sweep and whatnot, because and then like Dr. Ickis gets like immune for a second, and it's like, oh goodness, this is going wrong. That was a good job of being able to touch death the boss right there at a millisecond, because that would have caused a full team wipe. I mean, Rentari probably would have been able to finish off the boss, but like, that was a hold your breath moment for sure. At the same time, Rentari really can't tank them, so it's like a two-pronged issue. Now they're in the last phase for PIB, making sure that they use the rest of their cooldowns. You do see Klix has 2 charges of SEF and that Zwin available to him. He activates them right now, getting ready to just burn the boss as quickly as possible. PI me, is going to push all the way through, having about a 19-minute plague-fall. Not the fastest we've seen in the tournament. They had 2 deaths there. The Curie and it will go down.
No, they're not going to be able to finish the boss, but the storming just pushed both of them into that tentacle slam. That was very unfortunate, but they're still winning this game against Peter's Angels 2-0.
Meanwhile, IQ on the side of Gargoyle also doing the same thing, but 40 goes down on the side of Obey Alliance. That is not good. It's not catastrophic. Most of the damage comes from the Rogue here. The Rogue plus the weapon. But on the side of Gargoyle, they're having a much tougher time grouping everything together. Oh, Gargoyle drops so low, is going to be able to survive. Mode also really low on health.
He dies!
Oh, no! So Obey Alliance also have a dead gamer here.
IQ may die here. Oh, no, this is so bad.
Skylark also under so much pressure. IQ doesn't have his cheat, though. Skylark does have, I think, cheat available. Oh, it's been used, as has his Darkness Legendary. His Darkness Legendary, which is using his proc here. Mode dies for Gargoyle. That's going to lead to IQ dying as well. But Obey Alliance aren't out of the woods yet either. Shape going down.
Skylark died.
Hollow is going to meld out here, and they are also going to have to reset much of this pull. So both teams ending up having difficulties here. Looks like Gargoyle actually maybe... Oh no, Tentacles, they're being spawn camped by the Manifestation of Pride. Oh no. He got struck off.
Something is happening. Something is happening, and it's not good.
So here's what happened for Gargoyle is they did a better job of dealing more damage and killing more trash. Because they got above that 80% threshold, they spawned a Manifestation of Pride. Obey Alliance wiped in a more costly way, but did not get that Manifestation of Pride to spawn.
At least burn a battle res could cause potential for not clicking the Bonsomdi totems. You see Jay there has ported towards his guy, and now there's the Enraged Spirit. Watching it walk towards him, he can bust. He's popping all of his damage. You see he uses the badge. That's what that icon was above his head. Make sure that he's still standing as Rune of Power. I'm worried about his ability to be able to click this totem.
Nah, this thing is dead. Yeah, he'll be able to click that. This totem is going to be difficult though for him. He's channeling from max range and gets it with blinks away from the spirit. Great performance from Dr. J.
He's sick with it.
Does manage to avoid that spirit.
Pre-turtle it, so if it went onto him, that would have been great news. On the side of PI, they're starting to catch up. They're a little bit ahead on trash count of approximately 4% ahead on enemy forces. And now they are pulling Vintunax. But there is an 80% boss health discrepancy. Whereas on the side of Gargoyle, with their 3 deaths, they do have 15 seconds in the favor of PI. I think, though, if I had to pick a side that I would like to be on right here, I would probably prefer Gargoyle. And you see Maystein actually going down, though.
They actually put a world marker onto his...
That's toxic. That's so toxic.
He just got trolled by his team. I like that they're lighthearted about it though, and used the world marker to make fun of him a little bit, because he did get hit by one of those black orbs that come out from this boss here, which can be pretty dangerous to dodge, especially doing this recharge.
They're playing the Pride now for the final boss. Yeah, and then they're gonna have Bloodlust, and that boss is gonna melt. Ooh. These guys are nuts.
Yeah, that's actually a really smart idea, because the last boss, at the start, you have all the damage dealers there, and you can do a lot of damage. But then slowly, people are getting sent down to that other side. They're getting exiled, and you can immune it with Ice Block. Not 100% sure if Cloak works. But they do have the immunities, right? But Maris, for example, can't do anything against it. And if those damage dealers are gone, it's just an insane amount of time loss when they have to just kill that mob there before they can get back up. So it's really smart to just get that the Pride for the last boss, get the Bloodlust as well, and you can see how fast the boss is melting here. So after this initial time, when people get exiled, they're out of cooldowns anyway, and it looks like it was on Gingy. So he ice blocked the exile, so that was really good RNG for them. It's perfect to get it on Gingy here, especially because he also had his cooldowns up too.
Jeez, they are going to be shaving
fast.
A third of the time off of our fastest time last week in the space of 2 weeks. Echo, man, they are out for blood after losing the cup 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like they're just completely ignoring this oppressive banner, which is also a very interesting strategy, considering that the oppressive banner just slows your movement speed so heavily. It also is a huge damage loss on the boss if you have to deal with those. So if you can somehow completely ignore them and just blink through the casts and maybe use your immunities in case you don't get away. Wow, this is an interesting strategy. I mean, they are really on a clock at this point, because once they run out of their movement abilities or defensives, they're just gonna die. You see JB just somehow healing through that. Yeah,
so that's
huge
gonna be
amount
his
of shield, just
Rapture.
Surviving it. Yeah.
Rapture combining here with the massive shield there, perhaps even the desperate prayer to amp up his own health is going to be enough to make it so it doesn't even look that scary when it does connect with him. It is fortified, so it's not the hardest hitting, but it's still pretty scary. I'm impressed that they're able to make this work, and the reward for it is going to be a huge amount of extra damage, because they've effectively dealt the boss all that health that they would have put into those banners is just being done directly to the boss instead. That's going to save them 30 seconds to maybe even a minute on this fight. As you can see, they're just barely getting that second duel, as the boss is almost going to die here. Maybe the boss will die with 2 of them already sent down to the duel as well. That's going to be even a further time save.
Interestingly enough, PIME caught up a lot of boss damage there at the very end. Gargoyle just like started to slow down right at the very end. And now an interesting strategy. This is exactly what we saw from Obey Alliance, where they mounted up and then they clicked their thing. Okay, so nobody's pre-clicking the return to the beginning. I actually think that maybe if you're mounted up, I have a suspicion that you probably travel faster is the reason that they're not like pre-clicking it or clicking it just a little bit earlier. I think that would be the only reason, though.
They do seem to be moving fairly quickly there. Can you stay mounted in this area? No. Okay.
No.
Yeah, and they're going to be running through,
Soul
using
shape.
their movement abilities there. We have the Door of Shadows and the soul shapes coming out to maneuver through this little gauntlet as quickly as possible.
But notably, they're at 89% enemy forces count, which is dangerous. However, with that cage, I have a strong suspicion that will allow them to get at like 99% enemy forces count, and then that one caged mob will taper in whenever that banish expires.
Yeah, they might even re-CC it and then
exactly
break it and bring it in at the very end. That'll allow them to skip that very last pride of the dungeon. They certainly don't want to fight it in the middle of this boss, especially with Grievous active. As you can see, all these mobs are now being killed. This is where it's going to be a crucial Sanguine moment. Tredova needs to not get any ticks of Sanguine. It's okay if the other mobs get a little bit of healing, although obviously preferable if they don't. And look at this movement coming out from IQ.
So
Great positioning there is going to stop any Sanguine healing coming out on Tredova. Meanwhile, on the side of PIME, we have some players down.
Yeah, that's actually really, really bad for PIME. At this point, Gargoyle is incredibly far ahead, 99% enemy forces. Interestingly enough, the reason that they Ring of Peace those mobs back is so Maystein could get a full Convoke off without hitting a bunch of random trash mobs. And you see, like, he's topping the damage meters because they allowed him to get like a full Convoke with all of the CDs straight into the boss.
Yeah,
and then they
you
pulled
could
the
see
trash
him
in
moving
later
as well.
on.
He moved to the far side of the boss so that he was out of range of any of the trash mobs, and all of those Star Surges were just going directly into Tredova. Yeah, great.
That's a good
playing
optimization.
around to the Moonkin. It also grouped up all the mobs so that they would be, grouped up nicely. Oh my goodness, Maystein pops into that bear form, doesn't get hit, but just wanting to be on the safe side there. Golden Guardians, meanwhile, you can see fired up. As soon as that combat's over, he gets sent down for the duel, and then he immediately invises and blinks on through, and he's going to go up and start the Mordretha RP while the rest of his team kills off that one inspiring conscript. That will get them to 100% trash count,
He's gonna jump
and
back
they
down.
will spawn their pride. Yeah, he started that RP, and now he will, once that RP gets going, he'll be able to jump down.
Oh, no,
or he
no,
can
no,
just
no.
stay up here.
I forgot what they do. They actually hit the portal, and the ossified conscript will sit there, evade for like 25 seconds, and then decide to snap to the group. They then will trap it outside of the pack, and pull it in like really late in the Mordretha, so they don't have to fight the final pride. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they are all up here now, ready to fight Mordretha. And that conscript, in about 20 seconds, will teleport up to them. They do want to avoid killing it, so they're going to want to try and ring it out and then CC it if they can. If not, they just want to leave it nice and stunned, avoid putting too much damage into it, because if it dies, it will spawn their last pride. The most likely way for this boss to go wrong for them, besides dying to boss mechanics, would be that pride spawning. If pride spawns while this boss has more than a little bit of health left, that will be a difficult thing for them to handle with no reward, right? Because you're not going to kill the pride before the boss dies anyways, and so you're not going to get that usual buff of the prideful. You can see it's going to be the conscript, binding shotted to stay out of the group. Then it's going to be bursting shot, followed by Ring of Peace. Fired up gets in the area and hits it with the Frost Nova. Mordretha phasing now at 50% HP. entering phase 2. That's going to do a little burst of damage across the group. There's the freezing trap as well. So they are in good shape here. As long as they avoid accidentally breaking that thing out, it will be CC'd for the rest of this fight. And once this boss dies, once that conscript dies, they will be at 100% count with their last boss dead. Despite things going wrong for them, despite some wipes in the Gorechop wing, despite 8 deaths, they've done a really good job of remaining composed and doing the rest of their run as cleanly as possible, and that has allowed them to capitalize when things went even more wrong for PIME.
Yep. Now Golden Guardians having one of the portal sets coming out during the clash. Pretty dangerous, but interestingly enough, these Deathwalker mobs, they don't actually scale with dungeon level currently. They basically have M0 health, even on live. So that's one of those things they're pretty easy to deal with. Now the Dark Devastation cast. Lip with really good use of that turtle. I think that he had the turtle there. He was in a really bad spot relative to the charge. So now the Conscript just beating away on Yoda. The Conscripts recently got nerfed in terms of their damage done to the tank. Ooh, Touch of Death coming in from Shaq. And Golden Guardians are able to take the first map off of PI. A little bit right there. Now they do have that Plague Boar. I don't think that's one of the rigged Plague Boars. I don't think that's one of the ones that does friendly damage,
it's not.
though. Yeah.
Fired Up rips threat here as he is just exploding with damage. I think that what happened is they're leaving that Fungal Mancer over there so that they can spell seal that haste buff that it gives itself. And I think that's what Fired Up has done to be doing so much damage here. I think that's the explanation for what is going on the side of Golden Guardians, is they have managed that Pride nice and quickly. So have PIME as well. And it's important to note that, look, Lip went down, and that cost them a death. That cost them 5 seconds. It did not cost them their battle res, though. And that is something they're still going to have.
Dude, what are they doing with this Fungal Mancer?
So they're going to keep spell stealing it. They're going to leave it crowd controlled outside. Yeah, it's caged, it's trapped, and at some point in the future they can just bop, tap it with some ability. It will break out and immediately cast that buff on itself. Then Fired Up will be able to spell steal it, and then they'll just crowd control it again. There it is. There's that Wonder Grow that it casts. It's actually casting that on itself even while it is imprisoned, it looks like. And then Fired Up will, at a time when his cooldowns are available, yoink, take that powerful haste buff and deploy it on the boss.
I've done some quick Googling, and Wonder Grow actually increases your damage done by 15%. Is it actually does it increase your rest of your party's damage by 15% as well?
I think it's just you. When the Fungal Mancer's cast it, it goes on all the mobs, so you can spell steal. One weird function about it as well is that it stacks. You can spell steal multiple copies, and they will stack with themselves, and so you can get more than 15% off of them. With just the Fungal Mancer by itself, I think the max you're going to be able to get is 2 stacks. Before they fall off, but still, that's a 30% damage buff for quite a bit of time, like 18 seconds or something, I guess, when you factor it all together, and that is not bad on the side of Golden Guardians, who are able to kill Globgrog first relative to PIME. I think they might be taking this with them. I think that
this guy's coming.
he is going to be their friend for the remainder of this dungeon. You can see incapacitated in the back line, but it seems like casting through those crowd controls means that they're just able to leave it CC'd in the back and keep spell stealing off of it, and that is why Fired Up is all green and glowy. Very cool. Yeah, there it is. There's the spell steal. Casting on itself while paralyzed, but Shakib goes down, so that's another death. This one is going to be one that costs them a battle res. There's no way they're going to be able to get out of here without committing that, so they are out of battle res now, 10 seconds behind from the death timer, but as long as they're able to avoid anything else going wrong here, they should be okay. They aren't going to kill any of this stuff with the Plague Borer, whereas one Plague Borer I think has been deployed on the side of PIME.
Jack pinging me with very important news that apparently if you mind control, you can use the Fungal Mancer's Wonder Grow to go on to all allies within 5 yards.
Wow, that's that's very cool.
I'm not sure how useful, but definitely it's something, I guess.
Yeah, I think the fact that Fired Up here is able to get multiple of these stacks rolling on himself, it looks like he actually might be able to refresh it, so he might just be able to maintain a stack of this somewhat
until
indefinitely.
He runs out of mana. I mean, yeah, until he runs out of mana, right?
Okay, yeah, and then you take a little bit of a break, let your mana recharge, maybe invis, have a little drink, and then keep it going.
Wonder
as that Fungal Mancer, there's our close-up of it.
Why does it do that?
It's, some things can't be explained. Golden Guardians, Shakib gets
Mr. Dougie is dying.
He's getting autoed by that Fungal Mancer because they don't have a crowd control for it. It looks like in-cap not available. No. It's going to be hit with Chains of Ice, and they're going to run away from that thing. The Fungal Mancer giveth, but sometimes the Fungal Mancer taketh away, as they're going to have to use Ring of Peace to keep it outside of the party until they have a crowd control ability available for it. That thing is large and in charge, though. It is still CC'd.
Oh, he's bolstered.
Yeah, it is
that's
bolstered.
Why he's so big.
Mr. Doug dies. Yoda, 0% HP.
Yoda got thumped by the Fungalmancer.
Dead as well, yes, and that is... Oh no, Tettles, that Fungalmancer is going to reset as it is a full team wipe for Golden Guardians.